Alright, I'm waiting for my son to come out. He said he was going to help me. But I think he's doing his own little YouTube thing. The dog's out here keeping me company. Let me know my yard is dirty. So, obviously, the turbo's not in yet, as you see it right there. I've been doing work in the house. I actually put that away. This is a small turbo from Amazon. I forget the size. It's pretty small. The reason I have a small turbo is because I want to experiment with the spool time. Worst case scenario, this is too small. I could do twin setup, because if you look here, the 4.9 could be a true dual exhaust. And then we could have twin turbos wiring in, or each one tying into each throttle body, which probably be an idea that I will actually go with. And then it will be dual 3-inch exhaust going out to the back. And it might not seem like a lot of space, but this plastic right here for this wheel well is getting cut, so I can have nothing but space. I'm going to, if I do go with twin turbos on this inline 6 to the rods, come out the block, I would like to do something crazy looking and put two of them on top of each other, or like side by side, so when you open up the hood you can see two little turbos sticking there. I think that would be funny. Makes me want to just joke around and put like a ladder rack on this truck, make it look more grandpop-ish. Yeah, so all these vacuum lines are getting removed. These heater hoses is going to be probably tied out the way. I could hear somebody playing music out there. I don't know if you can hear that. This is my train of thought here. Yeah, so I think that'd be pretty cool if I do like a twin setup of this max speeding rod turbo. If somebody opens up the hood and sees that, I think that would be pretty funny. I know, I believe somebody did it on one of these engines already. They took two small turbos and made twin turbos out of it. I know somebody that put a smaller turbo with a smaller exhaust housing and it spooled up real quick. So it is what it is. I'm going to experiment, like I said. Two twin turbos will be pretty funny. This is pretty cheap. They're $125 on Amazon. And I'm only going to run, I think, 5 to 7 PSI until I upgrade and change different stuff. I was actually talking to one of my friends, and I was joking around about putting a really big throttle body and then get rid of this dual throttle body setup, and then try and figure out all the wiring and everything else down the line. One thing that I need to check and do is check the AC to see if it's working. If it's not working, if it's empty, I'm gonna put a gauge on it when trying to fill it. I would like to keep it. Alright guys, so as you can see, the grill is out, the condenser is out, the new radiator that I put in a few months ago, it's showing through more because obviously there's nothing in the way. I cut this plastic off because it was all chewed up, as you can see by the tape. This could be JB Weld, but this part right here was completely like disintegrated. So I'm gonna chop this little portion off if my camera could focus, and then JB Weld this portion so it won't be as loose. I think I was supposed to do that a little bit ago, but I forgot, obviously. Then right here I'm planning on getting the hose saw and cutting in here for my intercooler piping, because the turbo is going to sit somewhere in there. Yeah, so slowly but surely, if you look closely, a lot of stuff got cut off because I didn't need it, and two, it was cut under one end. I think it was that end, so there was no. Alright, quick video. As you can see, I took my bumper off. I am going to carefully cut some of this off and just leave the area for the brackets on. I'm just going to cut some of it off here and some metal off here. And the reason I'm doing that is because I'm going to try and take off as much metal that I don't need from the bumper, and I figured to do a little trimming on the bumper bracket. I'm going to cut some metal off here. I'm going to cut off this metal here. I'm going to cut off some of the metal off this bracket and some of the metal here, and whenever there's no support. This bumper is rusty and shot. This whole hole that I cut off right here was because it was completely corroded through. Here is not, but it's going to probably be pivoted when I had to wire wheel this bumper and spray paint it. Behind the license plates, I started doing some test holes to see how hard it is to cut this bumper. So I just drilled some holes. A little bit out of breath because it's freezing out. So I'm going to try and do this quickly. I'm going to just do this with a metal blade and a Sawzall. And pretty much I'm just going to cut this clean here to here. Cut this clean here to here. And all the way through. Alright, so this is most of the metal I cut off that bumper. The rest of it is going to get grind down and cleaned up with the grinder. So all this is pretty much taken out with the Sawzall. The brackets and everything is still attached. I'm not doing a close-up video because it got to be cleaned up, and I don't want to hear anything online about it needs to be cleaned up. Obviously, it got to be cleaned up. And one thing about this, it's not going to mess with the structure of the bumper, because that bumper is steel. Cars nowadays are plastic, and I was thinking about trimming down the mounts here, just trimming them down a little bit, but honestly, it doesn't make that much difference, and it's connected to the frame. I don't want to mess with the frame or jeopardize anything with it. I might have to put a vacuum in here because it is pretty dirty in there. Yeah. And one thing I noticed, this thing is real heavy, this flat, but this is for, I guess, the air to get to the radiator, however you pronounce it. So I'm leaving that intact. I need to clean out the rust of this truck. As you can see, this mount is soldered. Well, not the mount, the mount on the frame going through this rubber mount is soldered. It's pretty crusty. Some of it looks like it's going through. So this rust has to be cleaned and addressed. The frame has to be cleaned and addressed. But the frame is soldered. Everything else here is soldered. I noticed the one side is worse, the driver's side is worse. As you can see, it's penetrated through. So I'm going to have to cut this out somehow and put a new plate. So I'm going to have to priority go on the inside to see how bad is it. I knew this truck was bad when I bought it, especially on this side, because when I looked through everything, I know it's this side, and this side was bad because right where the this random hole that I made on the bumper, this driver's side, I knew this side was really corroded, that it went through. That's why I drilled a hole through it. And yeah, I'm pretty much removing a lot of the weight off this truck. The next thing to do is to get rid of this bed liner. So I want to get a bed. So hopefully I could get rid of this bed liner and get a new bed to replace all this Bondo tape nastiness. And I'm still in the market for aluminum wheels. So pretty much this truck's trying to get a little bit lighter. It's trying to go more on a diet. And hopefully I could reach my goal of taking, at least 100 or 200 pounds off this truck, which with the air compressor, or air pump, whatever you want to call it, AC compressor and all that metal junk, the coil and everything, I could take a lot of weight out. The other thing too, I'm still debating on keeping the bench seat. I really like the bench seat. I took the sub off that I installed in the back, and I took the bumper off and put a roll pan. So maybe I will take this tow hitch off and put it on when I need it, because this thing's heavy. And to tell you the truth, I really don't use it. I'm planning to use it, but I could just take it off right now and just put it in the shed. Tailgate has a little rust. Here we go. A little rust hole right here that got to be cut, and put a patch panel in it. But yeah, the only thing that's bad about the rear end of this truck is pretty much the tailgate. Everything else could be used again. So when it gets warmer, I'm gonna get the grinder, clean all this off, clean everything off, and paint it. This bumper was gray before, as you can see from the back. Somebody spray painted it black, and then since it got really scratched up, I just spray painted more black on top. But this thing needs to get repainted, and everything else has to be adjusted. I would like to find or do it myself, kind of like do a fiberglass bumper to save the weight, just so I can get rid of some weight in the front. I do not mind cutting up this bumper. This bumper was real rusty, and I figured why not just do what I feel like with it, you know, whatever I want to do with it, just do it, because worst case scenario, I'll just get a new bumper or a new used bumper. Like a chrome one, probably be better. But for right now, I'm just chopping it up because I honestly don't care about this bumper. Even though it's straight, it has a lot of rust. And unfortunately, with that big hole over there, it is what it is. It's going to look weird. People won't ask me, why you have a random hole in your bumper? You could have fixed it. Honestly, I don't care. You could find a nice chrome bumper for 50 bucks on Facebook Marketplace. Probably bring them down a little bit. And there you go. But, you know, I'm not one to be concerned about a random hole in my bumper. As much as this truck looks like crap with the bed, everything else is fine. If I get a new bumper or just clean up that hole a little bit more. You know, this bumper weighs a lot. If I had to guess right now, with everything I did to it, it still weighs about 40, 50 pounds. I won't be surprised if I keep cutting on this bumper later on, or when I grind it, grind a lot of stuff off, just save some weight, because this thing is a tank and that bumper could really do some damage. So it is what it is.